Hello, this is Lisa Russick.
And Misty Lore.
With the podcast, we are all psychic. And today we have Alejandra, a most beautiful guest. Alejandra, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. And thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to this.
So glad you're here. And listeners and watchers, look, Misty's here. Watch her on Spotify. She's here. She's been gone for a long time, Alejandra.
Oh,
we
really?
have a question for you that Misty has not asked in a long time. Misty, would you like that?
Alejandra. I just like saying
I do too. I do too.
we're all a psychic.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Psychic.
Mm-hmm. I do.
So how did you get there? Why? Like, what made you believe that?
I definitely was not raised in that environment. I was raised, as maybe you can tell from my name, in a Latin household and on the border with Mexico in Laredo, Texas, in a Latin Catholic family.
Catholic. So me too.
Yep, love it. Yep. So that was not really the topic of conversation around the dinner table. But at 50, as I started writing my books and my gifts kind of came online, and I started seeing that. And I worked with healers, I kind of started seeing that everybody has a gift. I really do firmly believe we all have it. Now, not everybody chooses to use it, right? So, I mean, yes, I think we all have the ability. Yes, I think we all have it. But I also believe not a lot of us are going to get to it in this lifetime, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, you have to work at it. You have to accept it. You have to, when I worked with the healers, they said, you can choose free will. You can choose whether or not to accept your gifts. And it took me a minute, and I'm like, well, what does that entail? And then some people don't want to go through all that, and that's totally fine too. But yes, I do firmly believe everyone has it.
Yeah. And I think what I feel like you're talking about is like that deep down digging in ourselves that we have to do to understand what the information is we're being given. If we don't understand ourselves, me personally, if I don't understand why I'm doing something and I get some kind of, like mediumship information or spirit guide information, I won't know what to do with it. I have to, So,
well, and when it's starting to happen, at least for me, it was scary because as I opened, all of a sudden it's like my whole little team got super excited that I was online. And so then it was nonstop. Then it was 24/7 and waking me up in the middle of the night, and somebody would hug me and somebody would be sitting at the end of my bed. And it was just this flipping party. And I'm like, too much, overload.
How did you kind of, taper that down a little bit, get it under control?
I worked with different healers. So I've had one gift that I've had since I was a child, but I didn't realize that it was a gift. I guess I didn't know that not everybody could do this or not everybody had this capability. I can see people who've passed. Yes. So they'd come sit at my bed at the end of my bed. So the first one, sadly.
How old were you when that started?
When I remember the first one, I was 16. I have a feeling it started younger, but that's the first one that I remember very vividly. And I see him the way I see you guys. My boyfriend died in a car accident overnight. And so in the middle of and this is 19. So to put in context, because people are like, and you've got your phone. So I'm going to be 57. So when I was 16, it was 1984. So there were no cell phones, no laptops, no computers, no nothing. I was not allowed to have a television in my room, and I was not allowed to have a phone in my room. So he came to me the way I'm seeing you guys and said goodbye. And it was a Sunday night, and my parents had not let me go with him and the other people in the car, and everybody ended up dying. It was a sad crash, very sad. So I got up on Monday morning and I walked into my mom's bedroom before school. And, the handheld receiver, that our moms all had, right? So she's hanging on to it and her eyes are all red and I could see that she was crying. And I was asking her in Spanish, we're having this conversation in Spanish. And I just said, I don't want to go to school today. And she looked at me and she was like, ¿por qué? Why? And I go, because I said his name died last night. And she just looked at me. I go, he died, right? And she said, yes, honey, he did. And I go, so I don't want to go to school. And she goes, you don't have to go to school. And she got off the phone and then came into my room with me and sat down, and explained to me what happened. But she never asked me, how did you know? Or why did, it was never, that part was never discussed. The only thing that was discussed is I said, I need to go see his mom. And so my mom took me after the funeral, like we waited, till everything kind of settled down because his brother was the driver. And sadly, he went into a coma for 20 some odd years. So basically everybody, like the brother's girlfriend died on impact. My boyfriend bled out on the side of the road, died on site. And then the brother survived, but in a coma, never woke up. So that poor woman lost both of her children that day.
Oh, God.
So when we felt the time was right, a few weeks later, after everything had kind of settled, I asked to go see her, and I went to go see her, and I told her what happened and that he came. And then, fast forward, my life went on, went to college, got married, had kids, everything else. And then when I was 38, my mom dropped dead of a heart attack. And then she came and sat at the end of my bed for like 5 or 6 nights. And I told my husband, I think I'm going to need a psychiatrist. I'm losing my mind.
No, were you talking to her? Like in your mind?
was like, what do you want? Because she didn't talk to me. He talked to me. She just sat there and like stared at me like with a semi smile, but was not interacting with me.
Well, as a kind of personal question, did you have a good relationship with your mother? Or
I did.
Okay.
I mean, mother-daughter shit,
Yeah.
like everybody else. But no, we had a good relation. Like it wasn't strained or anything
That's
like
good.
that. But it was weird that she wasn't talking to me. And so I just thought I was losing my mind. So on the 5th morning, I told my husband, I'm like, I might need to go see a psychiatrist. I think I'm maybe the grief is too much for me. And he said, whatever you need. And I talked to my dad that day and I told him, and I broke down and I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm burdening you with this, but I think I'm losing my mind. And he goes, oh my God, I've been waiting to know how she is and if she's okay. And you just gave me the answer. So I'm like, oh, okay. And still
He always
didn't put it
believed you.
together. Right. Well, in fact, then he died 6 months later because she was gone. So he no longer wanted to be here, but he died of natural causes, but he just,
he wanted to be with
ready
her.
to go. He was ready to go. So when he came, yes, the first night that he came, I got it. I go, okay, so I'll tell my sister. And I told her, and he only came one night. So, and then life goes on and these things kept happening sporadically, but I never connected all the dots until I was doing a meditation and Archangel Michael told me that I had to write a book. And I said, no, thank you. Don't want to do this. But that was the beginning of writing the book, kind of like became my spiritual journey, right? Because then that's when I had to like reach down and think back. And then the dots started connecting. Then I worked with healers and I'm like, oh, this doesn't happen to I just assumed everybody could do this. Like, I don't know any different,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all started happening. And then I started talking to other people who, were telling me that, no, that was not happening to them in their life.
No, I hardly ever see one like in the room physical form.
I don't see that much anymore.
It's usually in my mind's eye. Now I will see them sometimes. They move. Like, I don't know if this is how I want to ask you this because I've asked
you can ask me anything.
Who have seen them. Do they kind of move like this for you? Like,
so he was standing straight and just talking to me, like standing up. And I can even tell you what he's wearing. My mom was sitting at the end of my bed and she was just not moving a lot. My dad was not moving a lot. I had an experience in Mexico City when my husband turned 50, unbeknownst to me. And again, this is before all the spiritual awakening and before understanding what gifts I had and that I could communicate and all of that stuff, right? So I booked us this great hotel. We, all 5-star and all this because it's his big birthday and all this stuff. Well, happy birthday to him and to me because I got a hotel that was on top of a Mayan burial ground. Unbeknownst to me, of course. And we happened to be there. My husband's birthday is November 1st. So he's also Day of the Dead for children. So let's just guess who came.
That is what happened.
So crazy. So it was Halloween for Americans. It was October 31st. And they had a huge beach party, like an all-white beach party. We'd all been out there dancing and drinking because his brother and his wife came as well. And we were just having a ball. Finally get back to our hotel room, get to bed late, 1 or 2. So now it's November 1st, which happens to be Day of the Dead for children in Mexico also.
Yep.
Way to go, Alejandra. And I've only had this experience once, but I had this sleep paralysis thing, like where somebody was sitting on my chest. And I couldn't
like the hag.
But it was
you heard about that
girl. Yes. But I had a little girl super, super dark. The best I can do to describe her, she was very indigenous looking to the area, Mayan. So short, kind of that square, short, little thick body. And she had super heavy bangs and like a little blunt cut. And her face would switch, it would move. And then it would be like a little, I want to say a beast, but the best I can do to describe is like, it looked like a black Frenchy bulldog with the pointy ears.
Okay.
It would shift back to the little girl. Then it would shift to, like, it just kept going like little by little. And so I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
I am awake. Eyes are open. I'm trying to scream. No noise comes out. Can't move. Can't wake up my husband. The only thing that came to me is, good old Catholics. I started saying the Our Father. That's literally the only thing I could think of. And so I started praying and I started talking to her and saying, I don't know what you want from me. I don't know how to help you. I don't know what you need. But you need to leave. You need to just go away. But of course, I'm saying it all internally because no noise is coming out of my mouth. And then it happens. So my husband sleeps on this side. So my right side, this black, when you were talking about the moving, this black thing starts moving and it's moving towards her. And so that's what I finally realized she's doing. She's turning her head to look at it. And then she's turning and looking at me and she's turning to look at it and she's turning to look at me. And that finally got me because I thought whatever that was coming to get him because he was closer to it. That finally, I let out a blood curdling scream at some point. Of course, everybody's been drinking. So he's like, what? Lights are going on everywhere. And I'm like, there's somebody in the room. There's somebody in the room. And I was just distraught. And of course, I have him looking under beds, looking, of course, nothing. Right.
Yeah.
So I lost my sight that day. I have not been able to see again since then. And so if he was 50, I was 48. So I've lost it for almost a decade. I've asked for it back now if they feel that I need it, but I'm so clairaudient that maybe I just don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
That could be the case. Maybe I'm done with seeing. But
I've seen a dog before. I've seen a dog before. The face that you're describing.
Yes. It's a creepy face, isn't it? It's scary.
It's evil. Whatever.
Well, that's what I felt, that thing was something. And so I came home completely freaked out by that incident. And I called a friend of mine who's a healer who then called her teacher and got me on the phone because I was a hot mess. And again, I was 48. So this whole spiritual journey hadn't started yet. So I was just scared.
Wow.
And the healer said, no, I was actually there to help the little girl cross over and get away from that entity. And that is what I did.
She was begging you to help. Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I got chills. And I'm like, what? I'll take it because that helps me go back to sleep at night because that just kind of, and then that was when, fast forward as I'm working with healers during my journey and they're explaining to me, when you first start opening, everything's going to come. So we need to teach you how to protect yourself. That's what they were referring to, I'm like, I get it. So even before getting on with you guys, I do it before anytime I work with a client, anytime I do an interview, anything, I just clear myself with Palo Santo. I say to my guides, please channel through me for whatever your audience needs to hear so that I am sharing what needs to be shared with the right people. And, protect me from what I cannot protect myself from and protect us all. So everything's in highest and greatest good. Always.
You know what? I can so relate to that because I'm a Michael girl too. Like Archangel Michael is my go-to.
Oh,
you're wearing you.
My man. I love him. So that is so crazy that I've got that in common with you.
Two things. Yeah, that's two.
And you've seen the dog. She's the one you and your brother saw, Misty. The
same one. Yeah.
So how did you see
it? Was like a family curse in her case.
Oh, lovely. I was in a Mayan burial ground. I'm chalking it up to that.
Well, I was in a very haunted, in my experience, it's a very haunted place, which is where my mother lives to this day.
Sure. Oh, I just got chills. That's true. Oh, what you just said is,
it's very, very haunted. And as a child, it would freak me out a lot. And I saw it. I was sleeping on the floor because it was me and my cousins, and we were all on the floor in pallets, because everybody was there at my grandpa's house at the time. And it was a hound dog, and it just stood there staring at me. And I put my head over the covers, no, this isn't real. This isn't real. And then I'd look up and it was still there.
Mhm.
And finally, I talked myself out of it, but I could feel the evil presence of it. And then years later, I found out that my brother had seen the same thing that same night, years later.
Literally, my entire body is covered in chills right now.
Yeah, mine is
to
too.
you.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh my God, I've seen that before.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've never.
What do y'all
had
think
that
it is? Do you think it's a
again.
hellhound? It sounds like a hellhound, whatever that might be.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. I think maybe the little girl, in my case, I kind of feel like the little girl was just trying to get my
Away from it.
attention away
Yeah.
from it for sure. It was whatever the little beast face turned into was definitely attached to whatever that black fog thing, whatever was slowly moving as you were describing. It was kind of choppy the way it was moving. Yes, it was
Weird.
really,
Yeah.
but I didn't see a silhouette or a face or anything in the black fog. It was just, I mean, but she was right here. I mean, she was on top of my face. Like she was sitting on me, you know, but I mean, I hope I helped her. I hope that is what that was. And I hope I never go through that again.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think you will. I don't think you sound
don't
like
think I will now either.
You're good.
Yeah. And I have the tools to protect myself.
Yeah.
Now, right? I didn't have the language. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the understanding of what I was starting to go into, which was the spiritual awakening, you know, at that point in time when it happened. So I was just scared shitless.
I would be too.
I can totally relate. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing.
So you mentioned a book, writing.
Mhm.
Have you written the book yet, or are you writing it right now?
Oh no, it is now an award-winning bestseller.
Do tell us about this.
Yes. So it is called, I'll show it to you guys. It is called I Just Can't Make This Shit Up.
I love that title.
For stories like the one that we just discussed.
You can't,
because honestly, think about it, girls. I mean, you've got the same gifts, right? If somebody asked you to come up with a Hollywood script, half the stuff that we've experienced, you wouldn't be able to make up.
No.
Yes.
Where am I going to get a Frenchie / little Mayan girl / you know, I mean, it just doesn't, you know, I'm not doing drugs on a regular basis. So, you know, it's like, it's just,
and so much of it happens on a spiritual kind of level, like, and mental and emotional, all of it. So how could you really express it? You know, I mean, the feelings and the experiences of it, because it's
write it down.
downright so freaking shocking that you're just kind of stunned for a few weeks that happened, you know?
Right. No,
while other stuff keeps happening.
Right. And my journey started at 50. Out of the blue, I ended up having to have cervical fusion. So to top it all off, ladies, I have a plate. My entire throat chakra has a titanium plate with 6 screws and cadaver bones.
What happened?
All my nobody knows. I had lower lumbar fusion, so I had scoliosis as a child and wore back brace. Yeah, a C curve for me, so lower lumbar, L3, L4, L5, and at 47 I had fusion. So I also have cadaver bones and rods in my root chakra. So it's kind of interesting. I'm fused top and bottom, right?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Is your safety, and then your throat when you're supposed to use your voice. But I also have cadaver bones in both of those areas. And I don't know if that all kind of, you know, I had the cadaver bones from Mexico. I see what you're
saying, like whoever it came from might, I've always wondered about that. They make movies about that.
Yeah. My gifts are bloodline gifts because my biological mother, I am also adopted. So that's another part of the story. I was adopted as an infant, but both my biological families, mother's side and father's side, found me, one at 40, one at 50. So there's all of that. And I do have bloodline gifts that run through my biological mother's bloodline.
Like what kinds do you
my gifts that I have?
All of them.
I mean, they're bloodline gifts. So the clairaudience, the clairvoyance, the clairsentience are usually. I can relate. Yeah. So they run. Thankfully, I'm apparently very, very old, and this may be my last go-to around on this lovely planet that we call Earth.
Oh yeah, they'll drag you back. You're too good.
Oh, well, yeah, right. Needs to be determined. But thankfully, apparently, I have always come in light.
Good.
So I've never been dark that I'm aware of. And from what I've worked with, you know, the multiple healers and doing past life regressions and all that fun stuff. I've always come in as a light being. However, my biological mother's gifts in this lifetime came in dark. So she did say no to them. And I get that, if my first experience ever had been like the Mexico one, and that was what was supposed to be my gift, I'd be like, hell no, honey, you can have that.
no,
I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
So I understand why she said no, so I had to think long and hard about accepting and what I was going to do with them and what the point of my having these gifts was.
Yeah.
And so then that's the point, right?
What do you think the point is exactly?
Oh, 100%. I think I'm here to share my experiences so that others going through it understand that they're not alone.
That's why I started this podcast.
Yeah. I think that's 100% the point. We're here to light the way for others. We're light workers.
Yeah.
And we're here to just help others who are going through this process right after us. Like my book is not going to be for the wise old healer who's 98 years old. My book is for the ones who are like, what the hell is happening to me?
It's terrifying. Yeah, sometimes for some of us.
It can totally, there's awesome moments. I freaking love it now because I feel capable to handle it.
Yeah.
But, there were times that didn't feel that way. And then you have people in your family calling you evil and of the devil and friends who are like, I don't believe in that. It's witchcraft. And I'm like,
or laughing at you. Oh, you're psychic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I actually had a friend from Phoenix text me and I knew it was her. Because I'm
of course.
And she actually was like, I'd like to get a reading. Are you a psychic? And I was like, this is this person. I knew it was the zip code. The area code was Phoenix. And I was like, it has to be so-and-so. And I was like, yes, who is this? And she gave me like her name shortened. And I was like, is this so-and-so? And she's like, oh, you really are psychic. But when I lived there, I was just starting to like work with this stuff and I was really uncertain. I didn't know what was going on. And they all made fun of me then too, but they would still ask me for readings. I started doing it. But
isn't that interesting?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Have you guys done Sedona yet?
I went to Sedona and when I lived in Phoenix, and I was not happy when I lived in Phoenix. So those vortexes, every time I was there, I was pissed. I was crying. I was exhausted. I was on a trail one time and I was just so heavy and full of just, that I just sat down. And they went on up mountain and came back down. And
that's okay. You're getting what you need from it.
Yeah. And I didn't know it would do that. I didn't understand, that I was unhappy, first of all.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that unhappy as what it was bringing up to me when I was there, like immobilizing unhappiness.
Right.
I couldn't walk the trail.
Right. No, my daughter-in-law's one of her first experiences because we had a second home in Sedona and I wrote most of the book there. And I got told to go there. From the day I got told the word Sedona to the day I owned a house there was 10 days. That's how fast these guys work with me when they want to.
Yeah.
When I listen.
Yeah.
But my daughter-in-law, one of her very first hikes there, like she just said, I can't move my feet. Like my feet are so heavy. I feel like I can't lift one leg in front of the other. And so she was having that, like just because you need to ground, like you just need to surrender and lay here and we'll go finish it and come back, or I'll lay here with you if you want me to, like I'll do whatever you want. But yeah, there's some magic up in some of those vortexes, aren't there? It's amazing. It's amazing there. It truly is. And I worked with a lot of healers. I studied under one for a year there, and I did my Oracle Mastery with another one there. So it's a really, really interesting place.
That's cool.
Highly recommend.
You seem like you've had a full life already, and like still going with a whole lot more to come that you aren't ready for. I'm just kidding. You are ready for it.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. You would know, right? You can tell if I'm ready for it or not. I'm like,
I don't know anything.
I didn't think I'd be ramping up at this age. You know what I mean? A lot of people start ramping down, and it seems like mine is going in the other direction.
Well, I was really directionless. Yeah. Like, I don't know about you, Misty, or I was really directionless until I was in my 40s. You know?
Me too.
Pretty much. Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I feel like I had my direction. I've been an interior designer for over 20 years, and I was a mom and I'm a wife, been doing all the things.
Yeah.
But when my son graduated from college, that I really sat down to ask, now what? It was 50. I was recovering from the surgery. He had moved on. He was living in Chicago for his first job. My husband and I were now truly empty nesters. And that's when I sat down I was very new to meditation. And I just sat down and I said, what is my purpose now? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I was studying Feng Shui because I decided to add Feng Shui to my interior design practice. So I am certified in Feng Shui. But
what is that?
Feng Shui?
Yeah.
It is a way of working with your home and the energy in your home. So my superpower is I can walk into your home and tell you a lot that's going on in your life based on your home and based on you not saying a word to me.
I love it. That is so cool.
I do one-on-one consultations all over the world, and it's just it's a beautiful practice. It comes out of China and it's 5,000-6,000 years old, but it's a way of working with the energy in your home to like help you overcome obstacles and help open the doors to opportunities in your life. So it's all energy, right? I mean, everything's energy. So I like to work with people, even though I can be a medium, I have that gift. I do it through people's homes.
That's cool.
And that is how I prefer to do it.
I love it. That is so unique.
Yeah. Huh?
You put the two loves of your life together.
I did. Yeah. And then I can tell, somebody else was asking me, they're like, well, then, so how do you use your intuition? I'm like, because I can tell if someone's lying to me when I'm sitting there talking about it. You've called me into your space. I'm sitting across from you or across the computer. I can just as much energy from the computer.
Yep.
Which is why it's so important to clear, before and after you talk to everybody, just to bring that energy back to neutral and zero.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, I can tell. I mean, I listen very carefully to the words that people use. And then I'm like, I need you to take me to this part of your house. Like if I'm doing it online, I'm like, walk me to the front door. I need to see this area. Walk me to the back, this area, and that's how I do it. And I can feel when somebody is saying one thing to me, but they mean something way deeper.
Yeah.
And so then my job is to get to what is the root reason why this is going on. And your house reflects you and you reflect your house. So it's very
because it's the energy. I totally get it. That's so cool.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that's when he said that I was writing a book. That's when Archangel Michael came in.
Yeah.
Now
you two need to talk about Michael. Ask her some questions.
I know. I'm reading
like Goon on Mike St. Michael.
I'm getting your book for sure. That'll be my next read.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's on Amazon. You guys will love it. I think you guys would have a ball with it.
I want to get it too. Yeah, I want to get it too.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah.
Now, Missy, do you have any questions for Alejandra off the top of your head?
I mean, so what's next? What do you want to do next?
What are you going to do next?
I am working on getting this book out to hopefully a larger audience. While I feel very content with the fact that I know it's going to get to the people it needs to get to, at the same time, I feel I never really did anything. So I call her she, just because I call my house a she too. She's 2 years old. She came out in April of 2022, but the day after she came out live on Amazon, our son was getting engaged. Then we were moving into a house. Then we were planning a wedding. So they got married on 11/11 of last year. And finally, after the wedding stuff kind of wound down, then I had an opportunity to go to Egypt, ladies. So I got to go to Egypt in March. So when we finally got back from that, I will. When we finally got back from that, I was kind of like, I need to give her a shot and I need to really make an effort with her. So I've been working more on getting out with her, and Amazon too doesn't like that I use the word shit in it. And I just don't care, but it does make it harder to promote her because of that. And that's okay. Again, I think it'll get out there the way it is.
Reason.
Not something I've shared with a lot of people, but I will share with you girls because you probably already know it. Working on a show.
Oh, you are working on a show. Okay, I didn't pick up that.
You didn't? Okay. So I am working on a show that hopefully, I don't want to get too into it because I think it's a really cool idea and I don't want someone else to snag it before we're done. But it would be a home show, like, hopefully HGTV or Netflix or something along those lines that incorporates Feng Shui and multiple modalities. So not just doing your house, like, hey, I did this in 24 hours, which is so stupid anyway. And none of those shows are, none of that's real. But not just that, but like, why are you feeling stuck in this part of your life? And then I will go to that area. So just to show you guys, so you understand when I'm talking about the different areas of your home, The Feng Shui that I work with is BTB. It's a more westernized Feng Shui. And what we do is we divide anybody's house, space, apartment. You're saying you're moving into a room. It could be a room. It could be your desk. It could be anything, into the 9 main areas of your life. And so then I look at those areas, and let's say somebody tells me I'm very stuck in career. So career is going to be right here. It usually lines up with your front door. You know, I'm looking for better health, center of your home. I'm looking for wealth. You know, a lot of people come to me. It's like, I want money. I need more wealth. Okay. Well, wealth is up here on the back left-hand corner of your home or space, desk, whatever. However, you know, I always tell people,
I just looked at mine.
Everybody does this. Everybody starts looking. What's in my little corner? You know, love and relationships, how you are seen in business, creativity in children. And that doesn't necessarily mean actual children. It can mean your creative projects, travel and helpful people. So my office, which is where we are right now in my home, is in the travel and helpful people. And I always tell somebody, it's like, and skills and knowledge and family and ancestors. But it's like, great, you want wealth. Okay, we'll go look at the back left-hand corner of your space or your desk or whatever you want me to look at. However, what do you need to create wealth? Well, you need helpful people. You need clients. You need podcast subscribers. You need, you know, whatever it is that you need. You need skills and knowledge. Like you can't just wish for $1 million and do nothing and just have it appear. You know, you need to see, how are you seen in business? How are you seen out in the world? What is blocking any career opportunities that keeps you from doing wealth? If you're feeling like crap, doesn't matter. You know, wealth is not going to come, you know, you need your health before any, that's why health is in the center, because it touches everything else. We all know, right? We all get sick as healers. So it's really interesting to work with the energy that way, and then to help people create areas that become more aligned. So that's sort of what I want to do. I want to break it down into each one of those, and each show would be one area.
Yes.
And then, you know, instead of just having like the stupid banner with the contractor, you know what? If you're feeling stuck in your career, let's go talk to a Reiki healer while your house is being done, and introduce different modalities so that all of these modalities start to become more mainstream, and therefore reach more people, therefore feel less woo-woo, therefore more people are willing to talk about it and be open about it, right?
And maybe the world would just get happier.
Definitely, I would watch it.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, we're in the very early process of it. And you know, and if it goes nowhere, it's also super interesting to see how a TV show gets developed.
Yeah.
You know,
you'll have fun.
And just, I'm learning a lot and working with some really cool people. So we'll see. It may go somewhere, it may not.
I have a good feeling about it.
I feel we're getting more ready for it. I don't know where it'll end up. If it's, you know, HGTV or Netflix or O Network, I don't know where it would end up. I don't know where the right home for it is. But I do think that it's time. And I do think people want more.
They do.
Oh gosh, yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
You know,
we've been talking about this. We were going to do a show actually, but we ended up, it was going to interfere with the podcast and we didn't want to do it and all that.
I told her a little about that before when you were not, when you were trying to fix your computer. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just not the right time, but maybe it's still coming for you guys.
Maybe.
But the idea was a good one.
Yeah.
Right.
Thought of it was good, because there's too much junk on TV. We need good stuff and spiritual stuff.
Yeah. And that
I think so too. And it's also demystifying it, right? And it's making it so that people understand this isn't
they're
weird.
Already doing it.
It's happening around us all the time. I tell them this with the houses, and I feel the same way with my spirit guides. They're around you. Why wouldn't you want to interact with them? Why wouldn't you want to have a relationship with them? The energy's going on in your house. Why wouldn't you want to align with it instead of fighting it? Wouldn't life be easier if you align with it?
Yes. Totally. I totally can connect with everything that you have said. Totally can connect with it. And I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, yay.
So where can our listeners find anything out about you? Do you have a website or do you
I do. Main website is alejandrabrady.com. I'm also super active. I can only do one of the social platforms. I cannot spend my entire day on. So it's talk about overwhelming and energy. So I'm most active. I've chosen Instagram. That's where I'm most active.
That's what I like. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I just think that's the easiest one. And that seems to be where my people are as far as followers and all that. So I'm on Instagram as well. Alejandra G Brady Lifestyled. And you can get my books, my card decks, all that stuff, either on the website or Amazon.
Card deck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, Mal. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, you must have Feng Shui
What should
deck.
I Feng Shui today?
Oh,
So
is that on Amazon too?
It's an Oracle card deck.
I love Oracle card decks.
However, what it is, and my son, who also has my bloodline gifts, but is not ready for them. He's almost 30 and he's like, I know I've got them. I use them, in business sort of, but he's like, I'm just not ready to say, like to the level that you are, Mom. But I had him, right. And I had him preview this because I'm like, okay, the book is a little out there. He goes, I love the card deck, Mom, because it's not woo woo. So it's practical. So by the time you go through all 77 cards in the deck, you'll have touched every area of your house. So if you're someone who's not ready to work with me one-on-one or doesn't necessarily want to or can't afford to, then you can start with the card deck and you could be your own Feng Shui consultant. And you'll have touched every area. And it's super easy. Like if you pull one card and let's say it talks about cleaning out a closet today, because it's all like prompts, like different things to do and why to do them. But if you're like, I don't have time to do a closet. Oh my God, I'm not going to do anything. This sucks. Pull out another card. No one's saying you have to do that card today. Like, you're not married to that card.
This is supposed to be helpful and fun and not stressful.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people who say their kids love it. And so their kids have started using it and going into their rooms. And like one little girl said, we don't have an attic. So I just did the top shelf of my bookcase. I'm like, oh, love her.
That's perfect.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
So, and then another little girl, I heard that another little girl was like frantically sweeping outside of their garage. And the mom came out and she goes, what are you doing? Because it was like dirt. It wasn't a paved garage. She goes, well, it says I have to sweep outside of our back door. She goes, but this is dirt, honey.
She's sweeping dirt outside the dirt floor. Well, I guess if it empowers.
That made my day. And I'm like,
so sweet.
Think about that. Like my son and my daughter are so much more spiritually in tune at their age, which is almost 30 than I was at that age, right? Mm-hmm. Think of these kids whose parents are letting them play with this deck because there's nothing dangerous or anything about it. At 12 and 13. Think of where they're going to be at my age.
I know. Yeah. Honey, I get my grandson out and I get him to play with my cards.
Yeah,
he's great.
Cards. And I tell you what, every time that kid draws a card, and he's only 6.
Perfect. He's not closed off yet.
Time I tell him the meaning of that card and what it means in his life right now. And it's always spot on. And he loves it.
I think it's so amazing. I have so much hope for the future generations that are coming that are just so much more in tune, and open and are not living in that, I'm still kind of that generation where it was dad went to work, mom stayed home. That was very much for my age group. And just more open about everything and more understanding that it's a lot more fluid out there. It's a lot more flexible and you can do it in a lot of different ways. There's lots of different avenues.
Oh yeah. Everybody has their own little way. No matter how similar or different we all are. I mean, none of us, the skills work the same way because we're all so unique. We can relate on how it happens to us and find some kind of middle road or middle ground. But everybody, like if I'm talking to you, we found guides, Misty. We found a million things. Because
do you guys go into light language? Because I can do light language.
I've never done light language. We had one person on Stephanie did light language on the podcast. If you wanted to demonstrate, we would.
I'd have to do meditation first and then go into it. But I can't. I was just curious since you can channel, because I can't.
I've never channeled anything like light language. I don't feel as connected to the angelic realm as I do like elemental realm and our realm, stuff like that.
I channel when I've either done a really deep meditation or breath work. If I'm in breath work, it is just full on. It just spits out.
Because I do a lot of angelic stuff.
Okay.
So I feel it.
And do you know who you're channeling? I had to ask, and they did tell me. But
no, I've never actually asked. But I feel it, and I can see it in my mind's eye, and it's the light. It's love. Mm-hmm. Is the best way I can describe it. But I do need to ask who it is.
It's fine.
That's what you have to do. Yeah.
Because of all the bad things that have happened to me, I always call upon him. But, there's just so much more out there besides Michael, I know.
Right. Right.
And I can't help it, but.
He's saying, Misty.
It's good with it's good when you're comfortable too, right? With somebody and you can turn to somebody, I have a head honcho spirit guide too named Rufus who,
I love that. That was my dog's name. We had a dog named Rufus.
I love that. Yeah. And I can always feel when he's around too. And I'm like, okay, he's just like this protector.
Yeah.
So
in my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Feels, yeah.
I know. It's just so cool, isn't it? I think it's so fun to have them all around and just be a part of our everyday.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm experiencing right now. That's where I'm at in my stage of life. I'm like, so even though things are hectic around me, I can go into that space just for a few minutes and I can just be, and nothing else has to be in my way. I can just be myself and be at one with spirit. And it's just amazing. It's just so beautiful. So amazing. I try
and do that. I don't do it every single day, but I consider it a daily meditation practice because I do it more days than I don't. And I need that. I can always tell when I haven't done it. You just start off your day in a very different frame of mind.
Yes.
I usually do Reiki in the morning. I'll lie on the couch and I call it a Reiki puddle. I'll just put a Reiki puddle around me and just lay in it.
There you go.
Oh, you can do that 30 minutes. Yourself? That's
I didn't. Cool. I became a Reiki master in January. I was attuned to the master teacher level, and that's when a lot of stuff changed because I did Reiki 1 and 2, and 2 years later I finished, and it was a lot stronger when I finished up the PRT and the Reiki master certification. But I just try things and it happens or it doesn't. And then one time I was just starting to do Reiki on myself and I just felt it all kind of floating around. And I was like, can I just sit in this? Ooh. And it's like, sure. And so I just sat in this bubble. I can't explain it. I think of it as a puddle.
Right.
But it just feels really good. And I can put other people in the puddle if I'm sending distance Reiki. I've done that once anyway.
That's amazing. Well, that's how you start, right? I didn't know that I'd be able to do consultations remotely either because I'm like, I won't be able to do the energy through the computer. And it's like, no, yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
If you've got a hold on the energy, you can work. Yeah. You can work remotely.
Link.
Yeah. It takes a minute to get into that space. Easy. It's a little tougher for me personally than if I walk into your house and sit down, right? But as soon as I can clock in, then
I think that's how it is for me too. It's not like I've always got all this stuff going on, and I used to be like that when I was younger. I couldn't turn it off or on or control it or filter or anything.
Right.
But now I do feel like I have like a good, projectile. I project out so nothing can come in. And then I let that spirit. Then I invite them in if I'm doing, say, a medium reading, or but my spirit guides, they're always in. They're always. I love them.
I'm just like, let's have fun, guys. Do what you will with me.
I love it.
So awesome. I guess right now I thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app and website, everclear.com, where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And Alejandra, we do need to ask you for some advice. So Missy, can you think of any advice we can ask from her for the listeners? I'm thinking someone.
How about that?
What was it?
How do you start out, getting in tune with yourself?
How did you start getting in tune with yourself? Exactly.
Tell a listener
and accept it.
Yeah. It's simple.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing I did, honestly, and this is truthfully, I applied Feng Shui to my house. I actually hired somebody. They came to my house and I was just getting ready for this surgery. That's how that honestly happened. And I just wanted to have a bedroom that was going to be peaceful because after surgery, I was in a neck brace from here to here. So your face is straight. You can't read, you can't walk, you can't drive, you can't, because you can't move this. So I knew I was going to be spending a lot of time watching Netflix on TV in my bed. So a client of mine suggested this Feng Shui practitioner. She came within 10 minutes of being in my house. She said, you're going to be doing this. And I go, nope, not interested. That's my normal response to things. And here we are, right? I mean, I stopped doing that. I stopped saying,
you better.
Now I just say, okay, guys, help me do it. So like the card deck happened in 3 weeks because I didn't say no when they told me to do it. I said, all right, then just tell me what you want. Book took a minute. Feng Shui took a minute. But I did what she told me to do. And the energy in our house shifted so drastically that as soon as I was better and recovering from the surgery, my husband's like, do you want to do another room? Like things like this, arms closed when she came to the house. Because here I was like about to redo a room. And if you can picture the fact that I'm an interior designer and I've been redoing our rooms, he's like, you found a loophole. You're using your surgery. And I'm like, let me just do this one room. A month and a half later, he's like, what do you want to do next? So we kept doing room after room after room. And I did this one room, which is actually, believe it or not, it's in the helpful people and travel area of my old house that we lived in. And the energy in that room went insane, like just went off the charts. So that's where I started going to start my little meditation practice. And I'm like, well, I want to learn how to meditate. So the house just felt different. So I started feeling different.
Yes.
And I started asking questions that I wasn't asking before. Like, what am I supposed to do with myself now?
Yeah.
That's how it started. And I went into this room that the wattage had just been turned up 1,000-fold. And that's when he came. And that's what started everything. Like, that's literally what started everything. So I think it comes from really intentionally and from a place of 100% honesty, asking, now what? What am I supposed to do with myself? And not just how are you going to make it all about me, but how is what I'm supposed to do going to be of service to others?
Yes.
And I think if you really truthfully come from a super authentic place and ask that question, you'll start getting answers. And then the more that you ask questions, the more they'll send you answers. And then it's up to you to pay attention to those answers.
Yes.
My husband's father sends us dimes left and right all the time. So Father's Day, I found a dime, as we're walking into the elevator. Then I'm walking down the side of a mountain in Aspen on Father's Day, and I see a pile of something. And I mean, the grass is, 8 inches high. And I look down and it's 16 quarters. Well, Father's Day is June 16th, 16 quarters. And my father's birthday was that day too. My dad's birthday, who also passed. So
and there's just a pile of quarters
in the middle of a mountain.
Oh,
after they've already sent me a dime. I mean, I got $4.10 off the floor that day.
That's so sweet. Oh my God. Like see 4 now that I was going to try to make up.
No, it's the 16 quarters. It was June 16th. I first thought the 4 too. I'm like, $4. What does $4 mean? And then we were telling our son and our daughter-in-law, and she goes, oh, you got 16 quarters. I'm like, oh shit, that's it. It's 16. My dad's birthday is June 16th. Father's Day was June 16th. And it was that day that I found it. I'm like, it was 16, not $4.
And in numerology, you could take those numbers like 1 and 6. The
7,
one individual
spirituality.
It's 7. It was 1 and 7.
When you add it together, if you add it together, 1 and 6 is 7.
But you take in numerology, you take the 2 in beginning. Like the 1 would be you, 6 would be love, and 7 would be the numbers combined to spirituality and teaching and stuff like that. But you're doing it from love.
And service.
So, the 1 is like you're motivated to do it, So
isn't that wild though? So that's the fun part. That's where I say it's fun now. Like, because I want to find stuff and because I want them around and I make it obvious and I tell them I want you guys around, like show me stuff.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
Yeah. They do. So, pay attention and be ready for it. And they will do it.
They sure will.
Good advice from Alejandra. Take it. And lastly, I guess listeners and watchers, thank you, Misty.
Thank you, Lisa.
And Gandalf is here at the end. He had a night.
I love him.
All to know.
Every time I ask for a black cat, I get another dog. We're up to 4 rescue dogs, so I've stopped.
This is a gray. This is a shadow.
Oh, he looks
cat.
black on the screen.
Yeah, because I guess the cushions behind him are gray. So he looks black.
He looks darker than the cushions, at least to me in the light.
He is darker than the cushions.
Hello, Gandalf.
He's like a Russian blue. Yeah, looks like him. She's got the wiener dog.
Yeah, I've got the wiener dogs. Yeah, they're black.
We have the dogs that keep showing up at our house and in our car and everywhere else. So I've now put it out to the universe that we are happy at 4. We have taken in 4. But the Brady kennel is at capacity at the moment.
Yes.
And we cannot handle another one.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Can't do anymore.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It is. Yes.
It is a lot. 3 is my limit. I've said that, but you never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
3 was my limit too. And 3 was my limit too.
Well, going 1 over is not that bad.
8 hours later, we had a 4th. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. No. I'm saying
Text me when it does.
I'm going to learn from you, and I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
You just say we are at capacity at the moment.
I guess Gandalf wants to say hello to the listeners and
I love that.
Hi, Gans.
He's so
What's up,
handsome.
listeners and watchers? Oh, he is. He doesn't usually. He likes to be around the podcast when we do it, but he's just doing the cutest stuff right now. He's like jumping up into my hand, going like,
Oh.
Like, bring me back on screen, Mom.
Yes, exactly. Come on, cute. No, he's not doing it.
Right.
I guess at this point, I would love to say goodbye and thank you to both of you. Thank you, Alejandra. And I will put all of her information in the description. Gandalf of the pod. He just moved my whole computer.
The whole screen.
I think it's time to give Gandalf some love, or else I'm going to
There you go.
scratched her bit or just love to death. I don't know. I might not be so bad. But thank you so much, ladies and listeners and watchers. I would love to say thank you to the listeners and watchers. We love you.
Thank you all so much. I knew this would be fun, girls.
Fun. Thank you so much. And like I said, the listeners and watchers, we love you. And we will be back soon, sometime in the next sometime. You have to be psychic and you have to guess what day we'll post on next. Don't know. Maybe we'll leave a little poll. Will it be 2 days? Will it be 3 days? Thank you so much for listening and watching. And everybody have a wonderful time wherever you may be. Peace out. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.